G'day tubers. I've been sitting here tonight, and I've been sitting here for the past hour. I've got a lot of footage and stuff like that, but I honestly can't be editing it all. So here's a rundown of what I'm doing. Right, about 150 dead cells. Multimeter, battery pack, and the multimeter is there so you can see it, and it's falling off. Okay, so multimeter set up. The cable, I got a wire, my fuse wire, my positive fuse wire, my 0.05, so that's onto there. I got it through my multimeter. I've got it soldered up to a dead cell. Now this battery bank here is at 3.711 volts. This cell doesn't even register. It registers millivolts on the multimeter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this around to amps. Now that's doing 88 amps. Can you see that? No, 0.88 amps. Can you see that? That's doing 1 amp. It's actually negative 1 amp because I've obviously got the battery things, the terminals around the wrong way. Now, the whole reason I've done the fuses is I've bought into the myth, the whole internet myth of the reason why I'm doing these fuses is so that wire blows when this cell dies, or overheats, or goes reverse polarity, or whatever. Now, having this set up in the way that it's set up is going to balance this battery with that battery. So it's replicating exactly what one of those cells is doing in there. So if one of those cells died, it's replicating it the same way. The same wire. I've even got the negative and positive wire are the same wire on both sides. This one's got some heat shrink over it just for safety, because let's face it, if I short circuit, that's going to go. But this cell here is balancing. It's 0.84 amps. Let's have a look at temperature. It's going to be really hard for you to be able to see this temperature actually. Okay, so let's get the Celsius. Okay, so I'm just going on here, and it's saying 30 degrees on the battery itself. Let's see if it's hotter at anyone's point. It's about 35 is the hottest I've seen it. There we go. 37. So it's 7 degrees above ambient. It is a little warm to touch. But how do we define faulty? I guess that's another problem. I guess I'm going to have to test hundreds of cells. But is it complete bullshit? Or is it only going to happen on a cell that's gone reverse polarity or something? I'm talking aloud here, okay? This experiment is done for me to entertain myself. But it's still putting 0.67 of an amp. Can you still see that? You can still see that for sure. It's moving around a bit, but it's there. Maybe that's just because of the poor connections. It's bouncing around to 1 amp, and then bouncing back to 0.75 of an amp. I put a half charge. I think this one is 1.77 volts, so it's very, very, very flat. And it was only doing about 300 milliamp hour, 0.3 of an amp. I'm going to carry this test on. I'm going to do 20 or 30 cells and see if I just bought into the mystery or not. I mean, I can't see it hurting, but does it genuinely help? I'm ready to question that. Let me know what you think. Wire's certainly not hot to touch. It's certainly not going over. We're what, 5 minutes in, 4 minutes in? The whole battery is different temperatures, so I'm trying to get the highest temperature. We've got 34.8. Question, is it this cell that's still okay or not completely faulty? It's just not holding charge anymore? Am I looking at it wrong? Is it a different type of faulty? I don't know whether I've caused myself a conundrum or just an interesting video that can be discussed at length and almost pointlessly. That's doing 0.69 of an amp still. I don't know. This isn't much of a video, is it? Oh well. Maybe I need to charge this battery all the way up, which I actually don't have a way of doing. I could put it on that IMAX, but it's got a 2-hour timeout. Does anybody know how to kill that timeout? I guess I could Google it. Yeah, it's got a 2-hour timeout, and if this charges at 6 amps, that iMac gets hot. Really, really, really hot. I've got to put a big fan on it to keep it cool. So I don't think that's an option. My son's walking around. Out of the camera, young man. Busted. I wonder if having that fully charged is going to help, because that's 4.2 volts, so the theory is putting more amps in. Okay, so I'm going to have to fully charge that to fully test this, I think. I might start that process. In the meantime,